stuff
Since
in order
you're
to start.
8 years old?
Since I was 8 years old, Your Honor.
I'm gonna tell you something. You screwed up your brain. Good morning. Mr. Detler, why don't you come up and have a seat?
Judge, do you intend to have this concurrent?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Detler's so important, he's got two great lawyers here with him.
Morning, Mr. Middleton.
Good morning, Mr. Detler.
How are you, Judge?
I'm doing okay. We had a busy morning. That makes it go faster.
I sound like by my attorney, you said you guys got a lot of cases today.
Well, we got an hour and a half for you if we need it. We're good from now till
Well, hopefully we
lunchtime.
don't need that.
No, we don't, but we're on schedule. We have two matters to deal with today regarding Jonathan Matthew Detler. File 25273 SM is a domestic violence charge. The defendant is represented in that case by Rhonda Ives, attorney, and she is present. Defendant pled guilty on July 10th, which was the first of the month pretrial for the month of July. Had very many cases that day. And the recommendation was domestic violence with a deferral. And the complaining witness on that was Diana Holst. Set for sentence this morning. In the meantime, a few days later, the defendant got charged of malicious destruction of property over 200, but less than 1,000 in a domestic relationship and domestic violence. Complainant this time is Hope Parrish, the defendant's girlfriend. Luke Knopfinger was appointed to represent the defendant in that case. Mr. Knopfinger proactively worked on things and scheduled that matter for a plea concurrent with the sentence that was scheduled here for today. Also present is prosecuting attorney assistant Angelique Camfield, and she tells me we do have a plan for today, and I said it's good to have a plan. So, Mr. Detler, your pending sentence in a charge of domestic assault. And now we have the new incident. Judge Pattison had it for a minute, and I think he passed it on to me because I already had the matter set for sentence. Mr. Knopfinger, what's our plea agreement in your case?
Judge, Mr. Detler will be entering a plea to malicious destruction of property between $200 and $1,000.
I'd also like to make note on that, Your Honor. I had gone up to Runner Center myself to tell them that I would be continuously to make them payments.
All right, well, that's good to hear. We'll find out more about it. And the second charge of domestic assault would be dismissed.
Yes, Judge.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Malicious destruction of property over 200 is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail. Let me look at the actual complaint. Had to do with a laptop, and certainly a laptop can be worth more than $200. A laptop, personal computer belonging to Hope Parrish.
I'd like to point out, Your Honor, I was the one that got that laptop and she put it underneath her name.
We'll sort that out. They're going to dismiss the charge of domestic violence that's attached to that. Other than that, well, Ms. Camfield, you confirm that plea offer?
I do, Your Honor, and I should also note that when I spoke with Mr. Knopfinger regarding that, I did indicate that I would, and he had conferred with Ms. Ives as well, since she had the other case. The people could come in today and request that the other case scheduled for sentencing, that matter not be a deferral, and we could argue against that. But considering the circumstances and the fact that the defendant, as you will hear, has availed himself of some services since this occurred, I am allowing the deferral to go forward as a recommendation in the other file scheduled for sentencing today, with the entry of the plea to the MDOP, with the hopes that in fact things could be run concurrently, as we will get to at the time of sentencing. And I do note that both the victims are present in the courtroom and do wish to address the court at sentencing as to any terms of and conditions of probation.
All right, that's good. And it's good we have enough time to deal with this without being stressed out. All right, Mr. Dentler, did anybody threaten you to get you to plead to that malicious destruction
No,
charge
sir.
or promise you anything?
No, sir.
And Mr. Nossinger has given me your written acknowledgement of the waiver of rights to trial by entering this plea. You signed that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you get angry at your girlfriend Hope Parrish on that day in July and somehow break her laptop computer?
Yes, sir. We were having just a small civil dispute. I had actually had the owner of the home contact the police on my behalf. Just to have them there on a standby.
Well-
Just in case I needed, to be kind of help down a little
All
bit.
right, well, this happened on Wenzel Street.
Yes, we all share the same address, Your Honor.
All right, who's we?
Me and my wife, we share the same address. So
All right.
with no contact order, I have nowhere to live. I've been living
All
in
right,
the
well,
woods in an
we'll
hotel.
address that here in a minute. So Hope Parrish is your wife.
Yes, not legally, but we've been together for 15 years.
All right, so, okay.
I have
Who
four-
owns the
I have 4
house?
kids with
Okay.
this woman.
All right.
And currently, I was told by a third party this morning, I'm expecting a fit.
All right, well, after 15 years, maybe you get married, but that's not a decision for me. Beyonce had something to say about that. Put a ring on it.
She's got one, Your Honor.
All right, anyway. So what happened? How'd you break this laptop?
Well, okay, so the argument it landed up with, she was gonna take the car, fine, take the car, you gotta have the car for the kids. But then she wanted to take the laptop. I was working, busting my butt to pay for everything. I found it to be reasonable. Okay, if you're gonna take the car, then at least leave the laptop with me. She didn't want to do that, so I broke it. I knew I was gonna have to pay for it in the long run. And I've already made terms on that with Rent Center. I've gone up there. They told me just to make my continued payment like normal.
All right. And it was in her name.
Yes, it's in her name. She went up, so we both went up there and she had put it in her name. I was making the payments.
Okay. All right, now we've got 2 charges. The original domestic violence. Let's click over into that one. I believe the complainant there is your mother. This was on July 10th, as I indicated. It was a very busy day. And I wasn't able to do it. Then I also had vacation and some other things. So I set the sentence out for today, blocking a whole hour. That charge alleged that on or about 1/11 of 25 that you assaulted Diana Holst, a resident or former resident of your household.
Which I'd like to point out also, Your Honor, in that case, all 3 of us at that current time shared the same address and I was kicked wrongfully out of my home for that.
All right, well, we'll approach all of that. So anyway, this happened in January. The warrant got authorized by the prosecutor in February.
Which I would like to know, Your Honor, I was arrested twice for that. I don't know how that works.
I don't like that. So they made an arrest. They let you go because they didn't file a complaint. They filed a complaint later and you got rearrested on it.
Yes, sir.
I hate when that happens, but you got arrested again on May 8th and that started the case all over again. That happened a lot under Mr. Marvin's watch because he had a certain way he wanted things charged. Ms. Davis, our new prosecutor, has gone back to a more, at least traditional, in my sense, of the way to charge people. No, I really disliked when people got arrested on a charge, released, a warrant issued, they got rearrested. I don't think it's illegal, but It's not ideal. At any rate, yes. So then you get arrested in May. So that starts the process. We get an attorney, we have a pretrial in July, and you plead to the domestic violence charge. So the prosecutor agreed to a deferral, which was consistent with how things worked. You did post $200 bond in that case. Then in the meantime, you do this other thing at the end of July between your plea and your sentence. Each time I've seen you, you've been very polite, respectful, you accepted responsibility here in each case. Let's start with you, Ms. Ives. What would you like me to know regarding the domestic violence case?
Well, Your Honor, I know my client, decided to accept responsibility, understands that, that there's a wrongdoing on his part. He wants to make amends. The thing about it is there's months that went by from the time of the incident to the time he was arrested, where he was having regular contact with his mom and there were no issues. And I think that, they were, but amongst themselves had, discussed the issue, amends were made. And then all of a sudden I think when he thinks the case is going to be over, he gets charged.
Yes.
So there's that. And again, I mean, from January to May, there is this peaceful existence that had gone on prior to the incident. And I don't really believe there's any particular violent history between this family. And the incident is rather isolated. But my client also recognizes his own behavior and he's gotten himself involved. I believe it's at Pivotal.
Yeah, I'm at Pivotal. I got a appointment on the 26th to get my meds adjusted and speak with my counselor as well.
So I think he's taking the appropriate steps that we would expect him to take. I know also that his mother had called me and, she is concerned about just overall, further incarceration. He's got a family to take care of. And it sounds like from her point of view that he's doing the right things. And so I'm hoping the court will consider probation. If the court is going to impose any jail time, that would be deferred. If the court is going to adjudge some jail time, we'd ask that be at a time where he could do weekends or a weekend.
Where are you working, Mr. Deller?
I work for Greg Myers. We do pretty much anything, sir. We go and remodel apartments. We take out your trash. We clean up rubble. You want a trailer completely removed.
What's your current project?
Right now we're doing six apartment buildings up in Galesburg right now, complete remodels.
Okay. All right. Mr. Knopfinger, what's your input?
Judge, I'd like to add a couple things. He was arrested on scene. He's entitled to some jail credit. Honestly, reading the report, meeting with Mr. Denler, it seems like simple anger, Judge. Isn't really substance abuse issues at play here. So in part, if the court orders anger management or domestic violence in the other case, I think it would be applicable in my case as well. There is a growing family there. So we would ask for the no contact, for the court to consider lifting the no contact. I know it's often a concern pre-trial or any sort of adjudication that there can be witness influence, etc. We're not at that place, Judge. I know the complainants will have something to say as well, but knowing that he will likely be on a term of probation, there will be that oversight. He threw the laptop. He was angry. Also, I've explained to Mr. Dentler too that the court will likely order restitution, even though arrangements have been made just for supervision.
Well, let's hear from the complainants. if they're present. They took time out of their day. Let's first hear from Diana Holst. Would you come up and have a seat right here? Good morning. Are you Diana Holst?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're the defendant's mother,
Yes, I am.
and you're the complainant in the January case.
Yes,
And as Ms. Ives indicated, he got arrested, he got released. It went for further review. The prosecutor authorized the warrant sometime in February. Then it lay dormant for a couple months till he got arrested in May. So between January and May, you were all back in the same house. What would you like me to know?
my son has taken accountability for his actions in this. He was in a bad place at this time when this incident happened between him and I. He is moving himself forward to make himself better for himself and his family. I would like the court to just recognize that. He is, from what I have understood, had drug tests taken and he has passed them all. So he is not under the influence of anything.
Was he at the time this went down in January?
I'm thinking possibly, yes.
Which drug? Methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
Are you also living at 502 Winslow?
No, sir. I haven't lived there since the end of January.
All right. So things from your perspective are hopeful.
Yes, sir.
All right, is there anything else you want me to know?
I don't think so at this point, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And thank you for being here. Ms. Parrish, would you come forward? Are you Hope Parrish?
Sir.
And you're in a long-time relationship with Mr. Dentler?
Yes, sir.
You share 4 children and 1 on the way.
Yes, sir.
All right, this was an alleged domestic assault on you, which was dismissed, and the destruction of his laptop, which kind of was community property, but it was in your name and he broke it in anger. What was he angry about?
We had a dispute. We were fighting.
When I ask people, there's a knockdown, drag out, they break everything, the television's broken, the aquarium's broken, windows are broken. What was the fight about? We don't remember. It's like, what? So what was the dispute about?
I thought that he was back using substances. He was not. He was up all night, stressed out. So
Which is meth kind of behavior.
Yes, so I had accused him of that. That's what started the fight. Turns out I was wrong. He's been clean.
All right, that'll get us a lot farther to the finish line. At this point, do you want me to lift the no contact provision so you
Yes,
all
sir.
be in the same house? What's your due date?
I don't know yet. I just found out last night. I was pretty sick the past couple of days and just took a test and it pinged up. So I'm assuming April, but I'm not sure.
April of next year?
Yes,
All right, that would mean, I don't know if conception is during the no contact period or not.
it wasn't.
Okay, all right, probably before that. All right, well, again, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. You guys need to try to get your family back reconciled, and methamphetamine is a big family wrecker. If we can get that out of the equation, I'm more hopeful. How much is the restitution, Ms. Canfield?
Your Honor, we don't have an exact figure. I believe it was about $2,000 or more. It's my understanding that the defendant did go to the Rennes Center and formulated a written agreement with them for the payment of restitution and damage back to the Rennes Center
All right, he
directly.
had his hand up. How much did it?
600, Your Honor.
All right,
I
thanks.
can get that receipt if you'd
All
like.
right, I'll accept your representation. Anything else you want me to know?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm glad both those parties are here. They're hopeful. She wants her family back together. All right, Mr. Dentler, you've heard how this affected everybody that you love most in the world. Anything else you want to tell me?
I just want to go home, Your Honor.
Fair enough.
Oh, my kids.
Okay, sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yes, sir. I'd also like to add, I could have had that laptop paid off already if I wouldn't have had to spend $500 on a hotel room because I had no contact orders.
I got it. We'll be all right with it.
Your Honor, may the people speak?
Yes, I guess I forgot. I thought
Thank
I'd
you.
heard from you, but it was not in full.
When I originally spoke with Mr. Nussinger regarding the MDOP case, one of the things that I indicated I would be recommending this morning, because I had chosen to leave the deferral in place on the domestic violence case to allow him an opportunity to have a non-public record of a domestic violence charge, that I wanted him to do 5 weekends in custody. And my reasoning for that is that I'm dismissing a second domestic violence charge that happened when he knew he was pending sentence in this court for domestic violence against his mother. I want him to be able to maintain his employment, which is why I'm recommending weekends. But I don't believe that you can plea and be pending sentencing and on bond conditions and commit a new violent offense, still have the benefit of a deferral and not have an additional sanction. So I am requesting that at least 5 weekends in custody be part of the sentence up front, so that he has a very stern reminder that if he does not comply with all the terms and conditions of a deferral probation, not only does he risk losing that deferral status, but he risks additional jail time for non-compliance. He wasn't able to abide by the bond conditions of not committing a new crime. Thus, he needs to have a sanction for it. Beyond that, I do recognize he has some mental health conditions. He has sought assistance that's pivotal to get the appropriate prescription medication for his condition. He's indicating he's being consistent with that treatment. And obviously, he does miss his children and his girlfriend. And I do want to give him the opportunity to rehabilitate so that he can be a part of that family reasonably, calmly, and affectionately, as opposed to violently. My position always as a prosecutor to protect the public and the victims in this matter is to request that the no contact provision continue throughout the term of probation until such time as some treatment has been undertaken, particularly for domestic violence, so that the probation agent feels that he's no longer a risk to those victims. I understand that both Miss Holst and his girlfriend, Hope, wish him to be home and wish to have contact with him. Other than stating I don't agree with that at this point, I think it's too early. I'll leave that to the court's discretion, but I do feel probation with mental health conditions persistent to be an order that he be compliant with his pivotal treatment plan, and that he also be assessed for substance abuse to assure that he is not reverting back to the methamphetamine, and that we keep a close eye on that as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Just as a point, you practiced as a prosecutor in a number of other jurisdictions.
Yes.
Our general practice, I can't speak for Judge Pattison, but I think he's on my wavelength. We almost always do a no contact provision at the time of the arraignment to keep the witness safe, not have the risk of witness tampering, which is very common. Please don't do this, you're ruining our family, or outright threats. But once the sentence enters and the victim consents, I lift the no contact under the theory that there's no longer those risks and the defendant is under supervision. It's also, I understand how hard it is for the families financially, picking kids up, dropping kids off, childcare. It's also very onerous for the complainant. That's how it generally goes, but there are always exceptions. And I appreciate your concern. On the MDOP case, I'm gonna do 2 days jail credit, 2 days. You got arrested on the 31st of July and you posted bond on August 2nd. So I think you were actually in there 2 nights, 2 days credit, 2 days in that case, and I'm waiving the fines and costs.
Thank you, Judge.
Now, it's not concurrent because it's different 2 days with the other case. So we're gonna do the probation in the domestic violence case. Prosecutor, at the time of the plea agreement, believed that you deserve 5 weekends in jail. So far, you spent 2. You spent 2 days in the MDOP incident, and you spent 2 days in the domestic violence incident. One when you got arrested in February and another one when you got arrested in May. So you've done 2 of the 5 weekends that she requests. I'm going to give you 10 days jail credit 4, leaving 6 days to do, which would be 3 more weekends on weekends. I'm putting you on probation for 12 months. Fine is 0. You got enough stuff to pay. There's a crime victims' rights fee, a state minimum fee, $100 attorney fee. I'm going to assess just one $100 attorney fee. Well, you had 2 very capable attorneys that worked together on resolving this matter. And there's a probation oversight fee of $480 for you to pay for the class. I'm gonna do the anger management class. Substance abuse counseling and treatment if directed. No assaultive or threatening behavior. Alcohol tests and drug screens. You're not to use any alcohol or any controlled substance. That includes marijuana. No alcohol. That's our most common home wrecker is alcohol.
I don't drink, Your Honor, so I don't have to worry about
All
that.
right, you
My
do-
biggest concern though with that, I'm gonna be honest, is I've been smoking weed since I was 8 years old and I have a shattered neck. So how do I go about trying to do that?
If you get a medical card. you
Okay,
can-
will they recognize that?
Yes.
Okay, and I will try to get my stuff
Since
in
you're
order to start
8 years old,
since I was 8 years old, Your Honor.
I'm gonna tell you something. You screwed up your brain. Nobody smokes marijuana at 8 years old, and they've done some significant testing about the effects of marijuana on an adolescent and developing brain. And
I believe this is actually gonna help me, to be honest with
I
you,
hope
Your
so. I
Honor.
want you to be clear-headed. I don't want to get on a rant, but middle school kids, high school kids smoking lots of marijuana, it affects their brain development.
I feel like that's true.
Man,
most
Lord
definitely.
knows, I went to school with lots of people like that and have lots of friends that smoked a lot of weed when they were young. But 8 years old it's affected your brain development. You're to sign a release with Pivotal. You're to continue with your treatment. Now, marijuana is legal for recreational purposes or any purpose as an adult. When you're on probation, the rules are different, although we recognize, in fact, the Court of Appeals says if they have a valid medical card, they are entitled to use it. I've had people successfully complete sobriety court with a valid medical marijuana card. I'm not sure we're trading one thing for another, but they certainly are a better place than they were when they started. No
I feel like it
drugs,
helps me
no
with my mood
alcohol,
swings.
sign of release, continued treatment with Pivotal, no assault or threatening behavior. I'm lifting the no contact provision.
Thank you.
You can go back in your own home and under the category of maybe when you miss it, you'll appreciate it more when you get it back. Sometimes it's hard to tell mental health symptoms from methamphetamine symptoms. And heaven knows if marijuana compromises your brain, methamphetamine really does. When's the last time you used meth?
It's been, I want to say since February.
All right, well, that's a good start. Not to
I'm
mention,
trying to keep myself on the straight and narrow, Your
well,
Honor.
you got better things to spend your money
Yes, sir,
on.
I do. I got
Everything
four other
is-
ones at home.
Everything you spend on methamphetamine is money not available for your family.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask a question of the
Yes.
court. So is there services, let's say if you've had a death in your family and you haven't learned how to cope with that, is there services or anything that can help with that?
Well, Pivotal certainly should be addressing that. Are you sharing that with your
Yes,
counselor?
yes, I have. So maybe that's something I'll find out when I go on the 26th to my
Yes,
counselor.
I dealt with another gentleman. He has PTSD from the Iraq War. And he's been struggling with it for years.
That's
Then you
crazy.
throw cocaine into the mix, and sometimes it's hard to discern the drug effects from the mental illness. Methamphetamine is certainly, you're actually on probation in 27273 SM. And let's do the fines. Fine is 0. There's a $75. Oops, that's the other one. Pay for the class and $600 restitution to rent a center. So 75, 50, 150, 480, 600, and you'll pay for the class. That's $1,355. It did post a $2,000 10% bond, so it's $180 to reduce from that. Court keeps 10% of a 10% bond by statute. That equals 1175, and it's due in 1 year. Anything less than a year would reduce the monthly oversight. So you're on a domestic violence deferral probation, meaning I don't want any assault or threatening behavior, and I want you to complete the treatment class.
Yes,
In
sir.
addition, because of the past drug issues, we're going to do some drug testing and get a release from Pivotal. So you've had months of turmoil, loss, disruption of your family. It's time to get back with your family, get back to work, take your meds as prescribed, stay in contact with your counselor, get your head straight for maybe the first time in some time, and get things better.
Yes, sir.
Oops. All right, we got a lot of work to do. Ladies, thank you for being here. The no contact provision is lifted. You guys can go out to lunch. You owe a lot of amends to your mother and your wife, but let's see if we can get better here. Mr. Detler, you go take that downstairs to the probation department. When they're done with you, you can go out to lunch with your family. Ms. Campbell, thank you for your input on this.
Yes, you're welcome.
It was a plea agreement where everybody was aware of the circumstances. All right.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please do let us know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you'd like to support what we do here, the best way to do it is to pick up some of our merch. You can find it at courtroomfiles.com.